Hello guys and welcome to the BP Gaming Network. We are playing Out of the Park Baseball 19 featuring our Oakland Athletics franchise 2018 season. This is episode 20 or video number 20. This is more of a monthly procedure that I typically undertake with every baseball save that I have, and essentially at the end of every month, my recommendation usually is that every manager should go through their minor league system and take a look to see which players are performing well and promote them, which players are underperforming and demote them. This is not an exact science. It is a rather tedious work, because if you're playing a modern day save, especially, you have a lot of teams in your MLB minor league system. So I'll kind of just show you guys, for example, what we have. So for the Athletics, you could see we have a AAA team, AA team, an advanced A or A plus, a regular A, and a short A or a lower level A, they call it, so A minus. And then we have two rookie teams. Now some other teams may have even more than that. Some teams may have 3 or 4 rookie teams and so on. So there's quite a bit of teams to go through. So the work can be a bit tedious because there's a lot of players to sift through and evaluate, but it's not as daunting as it actually seems. There is a process that I use and I recommend, and it's basically, the whole purpose for this is to make sure that you're keeping your affiliate or minor league system working as it should. You're developing players accordingly, meaning guys that are that just joined the team or just became pros, which is your most recent draft picks. You put them in the correct teams in your rookie leagues. You try to spread them out so that they're not all in one team. The rookie teams tend to have a lot of players, and maybe I'll just show you guys as we talk about it. So for example, this is our Dominican rookie team, and you can see we have about 35 players on this team. Now that's not a lot. Sometimes it can be way more than that. If you take a look at our Arizona rookie team, so the Oakland AZL rookie team, we have 64 players. And then if you take a look at, for example, the pitching staff, we have 35 players in our pitching staff. There's no guarantee all those players will get playing time, right? So that's one of the challenges. And so as the manager, if you're managing your teams, and I'm involved, I like to be involved with my minor league teams as much as I can. That helps you get to know your players. It helps you to monitor your players, especially the highly talented prospects with high potentials. You get to know them, and you get to monitor them so that you can bring them up at the right times, and you can also make sure that they're developing at the right stage. And so what does developing really mean? Well, you draft a player and you put him in your rookie team. That's typically where they go. You'll never see a player that's been drafted going straight to single A, for example. It has happened. It can happen. It's very rare, and it's only for very, very exceptional players. Most of your players will start here. This is our rookie team. So if I filter our stats here so that I could show you based on potential. So let's look at pitching potential. So if you take a look at the guys that are in our rotation right now, take a look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 pitchers in our rotation, all of them amongst the highest potential. So we've designed the game so that even the programming behind the game actually is designed to give your best players based on potential in the rookie level more playing time. And that's what we've got here. So, and then you've got the rest of the guys are most likely going to be in our bullpen. So the bullpen is not colored. The guys in the green here, these are guys in our starting rotation. But if you look at Riley Thompson, he's in our bullpen. He's a closer, and he's got pretty good potential. There he is. He's got the highest potential in the team. But because he's a closer, of course, he's going to be on the bullpen side of things. So that's kind of how it is. So you're going to allow these guys to spend some time playing in the rookie leagues in order to develop. The game is designed just like in real life. The more a player gets opportunities to play, the better chances of developing, and the quicker he develops, he or she. But in this case, you want to make sure the guys with the highest potential are getting that opportunity to play. And so that's the whole purpose. So the guys with the lowest potential, if they end up proving themselves by playing well when they do get the chance to play, you also want to identify that and try to treat them the same way by promoting them into different levels of your minor league system. So if we take a look at our team here, so these are all of our teams. We've got our AAA team is Nashville Sounds. Our AA team is Midland. Single A, Advanced A is Stockton Ports. Our single A is Beloit Snappers. Our lower A is Vermont Lake Monsters. And then we've got our 2 rookie leagues. So what do I do at the end of the month? I basically go into each team and I do more of a top-down, if you will, review and analysis, meaning I will start with my top minor league team, which is the AAA. And what I'll be doing essentially is trying to identify, this time I'm not so much concerned about guys that can come up to the big leagues yet. The whole purpose of this exercise is to see who's really struggling so far into the season and who's playing well. So we just got through the first 2 months into our season, so April, May. And now we're in June. I typically do this at the end of the month. I should have done it 2 weeks ago. But with the draft and everything else, my focus was there. And so I'm doing it now. There's no, there's nothing mandatory, but it's just the way I usually schedule these things so that I can, at least at the end of every month, I go into the different teams and I take a look at the stats and see who we need to promote, who we need to send down. Now in this case, I start off with the pitching staff, and there's different ways of evaluating players. Some people like to look at the WAR. That is the wins above replacement. That is a measure typically in baseball that tells you this player at this position, how better is he than his replacement. So the people with the lowest, which is negative WAR, it would mean they're underperforming, and most likely there is somebody better in this position that could be playing better at that position. Some people like to look at WAR, which I do too. You also look at stats, and you want to look at different types of stats. Now, the way you evaluate your top minor league teams is different than the way you would do your rookie teams. When you're looking at your rookie teams and looking at the players in your rookie leagues, you're essentially only focusing majority of the time on their potential ratings, not necessarily their current stats. Maybe towards the end of the year or after maybe a few months, you can start to look at both potential rating, potential future, the future potential, as well as their current stats. And then you could look at that and compare and see a guy with a high potential and performing really well deserves to be promoted. A guy with high potential and not doing so well but mediocre also could deserve to be promoted if he's got really high potential. Or you may say, no, he's not been performing very well. I'm going to let him stay in at his current level until he can prove that he's developing, and then you can advance him. A guy with high potential and performing really poorly, maybe you don't want to automatically promote him. You can maybe put him in a different level. Sometimes it helps to change the level of competition. That does aid in development, but you don't want to go too far up. You know, if it's in the rookie leagues, I can put him in my lower A and see if that helps. If he's still underperforming and he's got high potential, I might keep him in my advanced A, lower A, sorry, a little bit longer and see if he improves, and so on and so on. All right, so now we're going to evaluate our AAA team pitching staff. We're going to take a look to see who doesn't need to be here, who's underperforming at the end of May. You know, maybe we can send them down and give somebody else an opportunity to come up into AAA, you know, obviously from our AA team. All right, so if I look at stats right off the bat, a couple people stand out. I've got Raul Alcantara. Raul is a starting pitcher for us, 25 years of age. Current stats, he's pitched this year in 17 1/3 innings. He's got a 7.27 ERA, but his WAR is 0.2, which is surprising. So there must be something going on. And so when I look at stats like that, it gives me an initial picture, tells me maybe let's take a look at this guy because he's got a very high ERA for a pitcher. And so what I'm going to do, because his WAR is still 0.2, and yet I know there are some guys with minus 0 point something. I'm wondering, okay, does he really deserve to be demoted? You always want to take a look at the most recent trends of the pitcher. I look at the last 10 games and see how that pitcher has been performing in those 10 games. And sometimes you could find maybe there was one game where they got shellacked and they gave up a lot of runs and hence their ERA ballooned. But they've been pitching really well ever since then. But because, for example, relief pitchers, it takes them a while for their ERA to really change or shift because they don't pitch as many innings as a starting pitcher would. Alcantara is a starting pitcher, but he's currently been used in both the bullpen as well as a starting pitcher. So I want to take a look to see how he's been pitching lately. So I'm going to go into his 2018 game log and just scan the last 10 games just quickly. I look at the ERA column here. And I just go through, you know, just let your eyes run through, and you could see Raul has been struggling a lot, especially since April 27. He basically started giving up multiple runs as time started to progress, and he hasn't had a good outing in a very long time. At the beginning of the year, or at the beginning of the season, he had struggled. He had worked his ERA down to 2.79, and then he actually the lowest he had worked it down is 2.30. And then all of a sudden he started to struggle and started to give up a lot of runs. One day he gave up 6 runs here. The killer came when he started giving up 5 runs in one game. The following game he gave up 4 runs, and then the following game he gave up 9 runs after pitching 4 1/3 innings. That's not gonna help your ERA. So what does that tell me? That tells me Raul has been extremely inconsistent, and guys that you keep on your AAA team are guys that you can call upon at any time, hopefully, if you have a need in your major league team, to bring them up to play in your big league. So that means these are guys that are major league ready or should be major league ready. If they're already struggling this much in AAA, it's a concern. And so right now, Raul is not pitching well enough in AAA to stay in AAA, and I'm gonna have to demote him. Now, for every person I sent down, I go back into the team that I sent him to and look to see if there's a player who's pitching well enough that I can bring up. Also, what you may want to do is once you identify somebody that needs to be sent down, then I go back into my AA team, for example, and then I just take a look to see. I start off with the WAR, and then I look at the ERA. So that tells me, you know, is this a decent player? Is he performing better than his counterparts? And does he deserve to be promoted to AAA? Is he AAA caliber, and is he AAA ready? So we've got the best pitcher right now, according to WAR, is Logan Shaw. Logan has got a 4.86 ERA after 37 innings. He's never been to AAA. In 2017, he was in Advanced A, and then he got bumped up to AA. I don't think he spent a lot of time in the system developing. So again, these are some of the other factors you kind of have to consider. So I mean, there's no other way to really teach this to somebody other than, you know, there's a whole bunch of things you have to look at. So this guy's 23 years old. He's currently in AA. He's one step away from getting 2 steps away from getting into the big leagues. If I bump him up to AAA, if I need to bring a pitcher from AAA, would he be a candidate that I would go to and say, yeah, we can bring this guy up to pitch for us? When I look at his pitching history, he doesn't have a lot of history pitching. So that tells me, and given that he's not pitching that well right now in AA, it makes me reconsider and think maybe he should have a little bit more time pitching in AA. It looks like we brought him up the ranks very quickly from our lower A. We went back to the rookie league and then went to Advanced A, and now he's in AA. So maybe I'm not ready to bring up Logan Shaw right now. Let's take a look at who else is pitching well. And this is where I will also consider age. That's another third component. The theory there for me is that younger guys who are still too young, for example, in AA should be guys who are between, I would say, 24, 25 years old. AAA should be 25, 26. Because if we drafted a guy in 2018, and you know, let's say he's not a special athlete, he's gonna spend at least 4 to 5 years minimum in a minor league system for him to get up to the AAA level at the very least. That means if he was somewhere in his if he was 19 years old, by that time he would be around 24. That's where I would expect him to be at by the time he's in AA or AAA. If we recruited him when he was 20, he'll be about 25, and so on and so on. If he was 18 or let's say 17, which is, you know, as young as normally we draft, I would probably expect him around 22, 23 years old to be in AA or AAA. So that's kind of how you evaluate a guy's age. You look at his pitching history and look, you know, has he had enough years of developing? So right now I've got a guy who's standing out for me, and that is Simon Castro and Joel Sedon. Sedon is 25 years old. He spent a few years between AA and most recently he's had a stint last year in AAA. He pitched well all along. You can also get a much bigger picture by going into their full page, their BNN page, and this summarizes things very well for you. So you can see his career pitching stats in the different minor league levels. He's actually been pitching very well. If we take a look at his ratings, his stuff is just below average. Movement is below average, and his control is average. No expectation that he'll continue to develop any further. at least based on our scout right now. He's got a fastball that is just slightly over average in ratings. He's got a slider that's just below average and a changeup that's below average. Again, the future potential is really not there. Everything is projected to be average. His velocity for his pitches 92 to 94 miles per hour. His suggested role is a starter. So even though we've got him as a relief pitcher right now, he has the stamina and the number of pitches that would make him a starter. So given that, this is somebody that I would like to see develop and continue to develop. Everything seems to line up well. His age, he's 25 years old. He's spent a number of years in the minor league system. He was drafted in 2011, went back to school, I guess, re-entered the draft in 2014. So at least 4 years in our minor league system is not too bad. So I could definitely see Joel Sedon going up to AAA, and to boot, he's pitching well so far. So let's take a look at somebody else that potentially deserves to come up to AAA. Simon Castro. Simon Castro is a veteran who's been around the league for a long time. I'm not concerned about his age. I mean, he's 30 years old. He's already been, he's pitched for Oakland, a major league team in 2017. He did okay. He's struggled a bit over the last few games. So let's take a look at his pitching stats. Going to game log. Let's take a look at his last 10 outings. Mind you, this guy's a closer, so he doesn't pitch that many innings. So just giving up 1 run is not ideal. Because he comes in most likely for an inning or 2 at the most. He's kind of been here and here, so. But you know, I'd say he's had a few saves. You know, 1, 2, 3. He's had 3 saves in the last 10 games. So not a bad candidate, you know, for promotion. So right now I've got Simon Castro, Joel Sedon. And I like closers. It's good to have closers, especially in good ranks. So Simon Castro is going to be promoted to AAA. All right, now that we've identified 2 guys that we know for sure we don't mind bringing up to AAA, we go back and we now complete the move. We go to Raul Alcantara, whom we deemed to be struggling and not deserving to be in AAA, and we send him back down to AA Midland. He's unhappy about it, but that's the life of a minor leaguer, and that's the life of baseball. You gotta perform. So I am going to bring up Castro. Now I probably again, you also want to keep things balanced, meaning if you give up a starting pitcher, then you want to make sure you have enough guys who can fill the role of a starting pitcher in your rotation. I know I do, because I know most of my players in AAA. So I gave up a starting pitcher and sent him down to AA and brought up a closer. But that's because I knew I have enough guys that can actually fill in the role of a starting pitcher already. So you can see our rotation in AAA has changed now. Simon Castro has been put in as a middle relief pitcher because we already have Ryan Buchter. And so he's going to have to kind of earn his way all the way up to a closer role. All right, so who else is struggling so much that he doesn't need to be here? We've got Tucker Healy. Tucker Healy, I mean, look at this guy. He's got good ratings. He's 27 years old. He's been with us for a while, actually. He was drafted by Oakland in 2012. 23rd round from Ithaca College. So Tucker Healy has good ratings, but he's been struggling. He's He's had some seasons where he's pitched well for us in AAA. He's struggled in the last 7 innings. So if we take a look at his pitch stats, game log, he's really had a rough time, and mainly because of one game. Look at that, May 30th. So May 30th, he pitched in 2 1/3 innings, gave up 4 runs, and that ballooned his ERA to 15.43, and he's been working it down ever since. There's only other one game out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games he's pitched in where he gave up a run. So 5 games and only 1 run, not bad. So even though his WAR is low and his stats, his ERA is extremely high, I could tell by looking at his history, or at least his last 8 games, or 10 games, sorry, that he just had 1 bad game. Other than that, he's been pitching okay. And he's also only pitched in 7 innings. So a small sample, not enough to really say that he's not a good pitcher or that he's not pitching well. And so we're going to leave him here. So that happens. You'll take a look at the numbers. You'll see somebody with a high ERA, but when you look behind the screen or behind the scenes, you get to identify trends and see what it is that's causing him to struggle, or is it just maybe he had 1 game and now he's working his way back to a decent level. That's the case with Tucker Healy, so we're going to leave him here. Ryan Dull also has been struggling. Ryan Dull is somebody who's pitched for Oakland before. He pitched for us last year and struggled in the big leagues. He's got sent back down to AAA at the beginning of the season, and he's been struggling. So let's take a look at him. Let's go into his pitching stats, take a look at his game log. So again, I just round up and just look at the last 10 games or so. Really, if I even go a lot further back down, May 5th. No, I would even say somewhere around May 3rd. Ryan Dull had an ERA of 5.14 right here, and he has struggled ever since. Instead of that ERA going down, and I mean, how many games is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So almost 17, 18 games where his ERA has just continued to climb. Now, you don't have to sit here and manually count things like that if you don't want to. You can go into pitching splits. And when you go into pitching splits, it actually tells you how a person has performed every month. So you can actually go and take a look April, May, and then you can take a look at June. So he's had 4 games in June, and he's pitched okay in June, but April and May were abysmal. So his struggles still continue, even though he's had a decent last 4 games. I strongly feel that we need to bump him down. He seems to be struggling all around. So Ryan Dull is going to go down to a Midland AA team. He's angry about that. And then we go to Midland, and because we already knew if we had to who we want to bring up, Joel Sedon, I'm going to bring him up to AAA. And he's still not very happy, but he ought to be a bit happier than he was before. All right, so we balanced that out. So what we're doing is basically just weeding guys out who are having a rough time, and giving guys who are doing well a chance to go up and continue to prove themselves. And that's all you got to keep doing. So I normally try to keep it between 2 to 3 players when I do this review per team. You don't want to sit here and shuffle your entire team unless you have good reason to do so. Lucas has been struggling. He's got a 6.82 ERA in 34 1/3 innings. Let's go to pitching stats, game log. All right. So it looks like his struggles started in May 26th. So just towards the end of the month, he had a very bad game on May 26th. In 2 1/3 innings, he gave up 6 runs, and that caused his ERA to go through the roof. Since then, he had another bad game on the 29th of May, he's tried to recover from that ever since that time. He has very decent ratings for a prospect. You know, he's so-so. He's borderline right now. He could potentially get better over the next few weeks, or over the next month. So, you know, you never know. His struggle hasn't been ongoing for too long. Like I said, he had 2 bad games, and that just kind of messed things up for him, ballooned his ERA. When I take a look at his overall pitching career, I do see, you know, inconsistencies from time to time. In the PCL is a Pacific Coast League, which is the AAA league. His career pitching history there, 4.85 ERA. Texas League is one of our AA leagues. Florida State is single A, Midland is single A, New York Penn is single A. So he's had better success in AA and a bit in single A, but struggled a lot in AAA. He was drafted in 2009 by the Blue Jays, and then re-entered the draft again in 2010. So I'm on the fence right now with Josh Lucas. So let's go back to Midland and see who really is deserving. And now it's tricky. Once you bring guys from another team, they may look like they're pitching really well, because we brought Ryan Dahl down to AA, but because he doesn't have any stats, it's showing a 0 ERA. So just keep in mind, don't get fooled by that. So the next guy with a decent ERA, I mean not decent, but with the next best ERA, is Angel Duno. 24 years old, has spent a few years in rookie team and a few years in single A teams, and then double A this year. He's not outstanding, not extraordinary or anything like that. Some life still left in him as far as potential, but he's not pitching so well that he's not pitching well enough to justify me bringing a guy like Josh Lucas down for him. So I'm gonna keep Josh Lucas here. He gets a pass, and hopefully he can improve. So I'm done with my AAA team. We've sent 2 guys down, brought 2 guys up, and now we're gonna go to our AA team. So Midland Rockhounds. All right, now you could see these gaps when you look at our pitching leaderboards, and that's because we've moved guys around, and right now there's not enough guys with qualifying stats to show up here. So we're gonna go into pitching. Now you could also do, once you do the pitching side, you can go and do your position players and see who is worthy there, who deserves to be bumped up or to be sent back down. You can do your pitching first all the way down, and then come back up and do your position, and vice versa. What I'll probably do is let's finish up AAA altogether and then go down to AA. So now we're going to look at our position players. So what we do, we just filter this out based on batting average. We also take a look at the WAR. So right off the bat, Matt Chapman stands out when I look at the WAR. But this is why you don't look at just one thing. I already know Matt Chapman is going to stand out because of his talent and raw skills, but he's been struggling quite a bit. And I don't think he is worthy yet of coming up to the big leagues. So I'm going to look at the batting average. I'm also going to look at home runs. And Chapman stands out there. So I'm going to look at different categories when it comes to my position players to see who is who's ready to be demoted, and then when I go down, who's ready to be promoted. So when I look at Wall, Anthony Garcia comes up as having the worst wins over replacement. But when we look at how he's done so far in AAA this year, he's actually playing well. I mean, in 234 plate appearances, he's got a 263 batting average, 309 OBP, on base percentage that is, and a 378 slugging, a very low OPS. But he's got a decent batting average. He's got 20 RBIs. He's got 12 doubles. That's pretty good. And, you know, he's got 11 walks so far in AAA. So we're going to keep Anthony there. Who's the next guy who really stinks? JP Sportman. Let's take a look at JP. So this year in AAA, JP has had 45 plate appearances, batting average of 163. He's a utility man who can play multiple positions. He's got the second worst WAR. His basic batting ratings don't look great. His contact, current, and potential is well below average. Yeah, so right off the bat, I strongly feel that JP should not be in AAA. So I'm going to go down to AA Midland and take a look to see which position players have been playing exceptionally well. And right off the bat, I can tell Eli White is a candidate. He's got a bit of potential still left in him. He's 23 years old. Got drafted in 2013 by the Reds and then re-entered the draft again in 2015. So he's had a full year with lower A, a full year with advanced A. 502 plate appearances, 267 plate appearances in lower A, and all along he's been very consistent. I mean, look at this guy. His batting average has been exceptional. 279 in Vermont Lake Monsters, and then 2017 while playing for Stockton Ports, he had a 270 batting average, and then this year batting for Midland, and we use him as a shortstop. He's had a batting average of 303. He's got 32 RBIs, 6 home runs. He's had 21 walks. His OPS is 814, which is not bad. So Eli White, even though he's still kind of young, doesn't have the greatest ratings, his stats, his performance is worthy of a promotion. We can go down and see who else. The next guy is a catcher, Jordan DeVincenzi, Trace Lohr. He's got similar kind of ratings. He's had a good season. He's having a good season. He also had a good season in 2017 for Beloit Snappers. But Eli White, to me, feels like somebody we should bring up. So we're going to send him up to AAA, and then we're going to come here and take Sportman and send Sportman down to AA. Demote. All right. And then we're going to ask the coach to reset the lineups. They will do it automatically, but for visual, I just always like to do that. Okay, guys. So looks like we've looked at both position players as well as pitchers that are underperforming in AAA, and we've sent them down, and we've brought up a few guys that we think are worthy or deserve to be in AAA based on their performance. So now we're going to go down and take a look at AA Midland. I start with the pitching side. We're going to filter this out based on ERA. So who's got the worst ERA? And Zach Irwin comes up, and Chris Colher. Not surprisingly, Zach Irwin has the lowest WAR, and you know, he's been back and forth between AAA and AA, and he's actually struggled, even though he's not pitched that much. So let's take a look at his game log. Oh yeah, Zach Irwin has just been struggling heavily. He struggled when we sent him to AAA. He struggled when we sent him to single A, and he struggled when he came back to AA. What I mean by that is, if you look at the column ERA, every single game he's had less than 5 or less than 6 innings pitched and given up multiple ERAs. He's not striking out a lot of people, and so his walks and hits are fairly high. If you look at his whip, 2.13 and 2.25. So this is a struggling pitcher who is probably overwhelmed in AA right now. All right, so now that we've identified him, I'm gonna go to Stockton Ports. This is where we're gonna send him. And oh, we got an injured person here waiting for the results. Okay, so we're gonna take a look to see who's really been pitching well for us in single A. And right off the bat, Joseph Camacho comes up. Camacho is 23 years old. His ratings are just below average. Staff movement and control. He's got a mediocre fastball, less than average curveball that can eventually get to just above average in the future, and a changeup that can get to just average. He hasn't had a lot of innings. He's only had 7 1/3 innings, and his ERA is 2.45. So I don't think that's enough for me to make a judgment on him. So I'm going to skip him, and that's what you have to do. I mean, you know, if you're looking at a guy who just looks like he just recently got bumped up to advanced A, and in 7 innings he's pitched well, that's not enough to really make him worthy of promotion. So I'm going to go to the next guy with the next best pitching stats, and that's Ty Damron. Ty is 23 years old. His ratings slightly better. Spent a lot of time in single A. He's pitched in 12 1/3 innings in advanced A. Not pitched well. For Stockton, he's got a 5.11 ERA. Pitched well though for Beloit earlier this year, and last year was just mediocre. So nothing exceptional with Ty either that warrants to be promoted. So we're going to go and take a look at Nolan Blackwood. Nolan Blackwood is a decent prospect with high potential. So that is something that I have to take into consideration. He's had 25 1/3 innings for Stockton. His ERA is 4.26, not too bad. He pitched well last year in 57 innings, had an ERA of 3. drafted in 2016. So Noland, it's your lucky day. So definitely like him. I'm going to promote him to AA, and hopefully he continues to improve. So then we're going to go back to AA and take a look at let's see, who was it that we wanted to send down? It was Zach Irwin. Now let me see, before I send Zach down, Chris Cole has had lousy stats so far in AA, but that's just in 5 1/3 innings. So we're gonna let him be, and Zach is gonna go down just because it's not just in AAA. He struggled in Advanced A, he struggled in AA, and he struggled in AAA. That's a lot of struggling that warrants demotion. So I'm going to send him back down to Stockton Ports. He's not pissed off because he knows better. All right, guys. So that's kind of it. I mean, we don't have guys who are performing exceptionally well between single A and AA. So we're going to keep things as they are. That's the one move we're going to make. Then we're going to go to position players and take a look and see who's been outstanding. I mean, sorry, we've already looked at the outstanding guys. We're going to take a look at who's been struggling. So, what am I doing? So we've got Seth Brown. He's got a batting average of 214. But the guy with the worst WAR is Greg Deichmann. Okay. But when I look at Greg has been contributing nonetheless. He's got 25 RBIs, whereas Seth is got just 9 RBIs. Although Seth has only had 68 plate appearances compared to Deichmann's 212 plate appearances. But let's take a look at Seth. Ratings, nothing excitable. Doesn't appear to have a solid, promising future as far as his raw ability and talent, which is his ratings. He's had a bit of a struggle in Midland. He can play multiple positions. He can play first base and then the outfield. And so this is somebody that currently seems overpowered in AA, and so we're gonna demote him to let's see, we're gonna demote him to Stockton. That's what we were doing. Then we're gonna go to Stockton and take a look at who it is that we said we were gonna promote. All right, we've got a few guys that are pitching well in Stockton Ports, which is our Advanced A team. If I look at plate appearances, Sky Bolt really sticks out. So Bolt has already performed really well in Advanced A in 2017. He had a 243 batting average, but had 15 home runs. I like that. That stands out. Right, so you have to look across the board, not just one area only. This is something you constantly have to do if you're going to play baseball and out of the park baseball. Don't be somebody who just looks at the most basic stats. I'm not heavy into sabermetrics, so I don't go into the extreme split stats and look at the crazy stats. I am more of a traditional ball player. Look at some of just the basic traditional stats. Otherwise, it would take forever to sit here and evaluate guys in depth. So I like Sky Bolt. Still got a few potential ratings left in him. He's an outfielder, so absolutely we're going to send him to AA Midland. So you're always going to make sure your teams are balanced. The way it works, you're required to have 25 active players in your roster, all the way from your major league team all the way to your single A. Everything from your lower A and to your rookie leagues can have your lower A leagues or teams can have 35 players. Your rookie leagues can have unlimited number of players. So every moves you make, you got to make sure your teams are stocked with enough players for each position. So we've made some moves there. Sportman is still here. So we brought up Sky Bolt into AA, and then we sent down, who did we send down? Seth Brown. Seth Brown is now in Advanced A. All right. So it looks like, who else is really struggling? Sean Murphy, our catcher. I evaluate catchers a little bit differently. Don't necessarily look at just their batting average or their offensive performance, but I mostly look at their fielding stats. So you want catchers that have good defensive abilities in the catching position. So two ways of doing that. You look at the ratings and you look at catcher's arm. You want that to be decent. So this guy's, Sean Murphy is a decent catcher. Not exceptional, but decent. And then you look at his fielding stats, So, you always want to see the caught stealing number. You want that to be high. His defensive efficiency, you want that also to be high. His catcher ERA is fairly high, 4.97. But not too crazy for a guy who's just in AA. So even though when we filtered this out based on batting average, he comes up as one of the guys who are underperforming with a very low batting average. But for a catcher, we evaluate him differently, and I think he's still a decent catcher to stay here. So we're gonna keep him there. I think that's about it for AA. We've made some changes in the pitching side of things. And we're going to keep the rest of the guys there. Corey Walter. I didn't focus on Corey, but maybe I should. 2017, Corey pitched well for AA. He had a 2.44 ERA in 44 and 1/3 innings. Got sent up to AAA, where he struggled in 72 and 2/3 innings. He's now gone back down to AA, and he's continued to struggle. He's 25 years old. Average ratings as a pitcher is stuff below average, movement just average eventually. So nothing exceptional about him. His potential is not the greatest, and he's struggling. So I should have noticed that earlier when I was evaluating the pitchers. So I'm gonna go down to Advanced A and see who else is worthy of coming up. And maybe that's what it was. I don't think we had a lot of guys that have had enough experience and are worthy to be promoted. But maybe Jake Bray could be that candidate. He spent most of his minor league life in single A. He's had some success and he's had some rough times. Of late, he's got a 4.91 ERA in Stockton Ports. After pitching 47 and 2/3 innings. He's 25 years old. Perhaps he does deserve to be sent up to AA. Like I said, there will be times where, and I'm only doing this based on his previous history, he's pitched well in the past in at this level, that a change of scenery could help him. Yes, he struggled. If we look at his game log, we can see he's been inconsistent. He had a pretty good outing since May 22nd, and then he hit a snag in June, on June 11th. So things were trending well, but he's been improving, and that's something that is worthy of considering. He had an ERA of 5.47 as of May 18th, and he's been bringing it down, except a couple games there where he hit a bit of a snag. So I think Jake has been doing well and worthy of a promotion, especially when I've got a guy like Corey Walter here, who's not only been struggling, but he's on a cold streak. So Corey's going to go down to Stockton, and Jake Bray has been brought up to AA. So this process, again, guys, it's not an exact science. It's more of a visual thing. It's more of your gut feeling and just who you think is doing well and deserves to come up. There are rules, not rules, but there are sort of conditions that you want to make sure you're considering. Guys with very high potential, you should always cut them some slack, because high potential means this guy could eventually develop into something great, but not cut them so much slack that you're promoting them too fast, too quick. Everything in moderation. You want guys to remain at their level and develop, because they're getting playing time, they're developing. And then, but you don't want to keep guys who are of high potential in one place for too long either. So those are always your targets. Like I said, when you're looking at your AAA and AA, you do look at stats a lot, because by then guys don't have too high of potential. Potential reduces the closer they get to maturity. So by the time they're in AA and AAA, you're looking at you're focusing a lot more on stats. When you start to get to the single A and the rookie levels, then you start to combine stats and potential. And in rookie leagues, mostly potential. That's the general rule of thumb. All right, Stockton Ports. This is our Advanced A team. Sky Bolt was one of the leaders in batting average, so we sent him up already. That's why he's in different uniform. All right, let's take a look at pitchers who were struggling. So we got Miguel Romero. Should been doing Miguel. Miguel is 24 years old. He's really had a rough time in Stockton, but let's take a look at his game log. Yeah, you see right there. This is why you always want to look at, the trends. If you take a look at this guy, Miguel, ever since April 25th, Miguel has been all over the map. He's a relief pitcher. That means he doesn't get to pitch that many innings, and that means the more he screws up, the higher his ERA goes, and he's been getting hammered a lot. Ever since April 25th, his ERA ballooned to 27, and then it's been here and there. So, it's gone down, up and down, nothing decent. He hasn't had a decent outing in a very long time. Again, it's tougher for relief pitchers because, like I said, one bad game could really set them behind. But when you have a guy who every 4 or 5 games gives up a lot of runs, because his whip is 2.34, maybe not worthy yet of staying where he's at. So Miguel is most likely going down to single A from Advanced A. It just doesn't look good. Miguel is one of those guys, when I look at his pitching stats, looks like he was acquired from Cuba. He's one of those guys who, I guess, defected and came to the U.S., got signed as a minor leaguer. But he's been struggling, so we're going to be looking to send Miguel down. While we're here, let's see who else. Bobby Wall. Bobby Wall is a fascinating pitcher because he's got very, very decent stuff, Not the greatest movement with his pitches, not the greatest control, but his fastball, he's got a lively fastball. It can top 96 to 98 miles per hour. His slider also plus or just elite level in my books, and then a very average changeup. So this is a decent potential candidate for a closer if he can just develop. He's already made his major league debut in 2017. He pitched for the Oakland A's in 7 innings and 7 2/3 innings. Didn't fare out too bad, but didn't fare out too well either. 4.70 ERA. Since then, the beginning of 2018, he got sent back down to AA, and then now to Stockton Ports. He hasn't pitched a lot for Stockton. He's only had 7 innings, but as a closer, you know, those 7 innings could mean 5-6 games. In fact, he's had 7 games. So, but because he's still got some decent potential, and because of his ratings, I'm hesitant in sending him further back down. I mean, he's 26 years old, you know, so he doesn't have a lot of time left in his career to really turn it around, but he's got very good basic mechanics, very good ratings. So we're going to leave him there. And if you look at the rest of the team, all of them have been struggling. Look at this. Look at the ERAs. The whole team, you know, has just been struggling and pathetic. But Miguel definitely is a standout for even amongst the struggling team. So there should be somebody who deserves to come up to Advanced A from our regular A team. And Miguel deserves to go back to regular A. So I'm going to send him to Class A. So you'll notice when you're at this level, Class A and Advanced A, not excessive amount of difference. And so you're not usually promoting or demoting somebody. You're literally just, it's sending him to just the other team. But it is the avenue for development. I mean, you go from Advanced A to the AA. So let's take a look here. Let's go to Beloit Snappers and take a look at guys who've been pitching well that deserve to be promoted. Boomer Biagalski. So Boomer stands out. Kyle Friedrichs also stands out. Let's take a look at Boomer. So Boomer, not the greatest stuff. Still has some potential left in him. He's 23 years old. He's pitched in 58 2/3 innings. He's got an ERA of 2.76 for Beloit. That's pretty good. Pretty good. He's already pitched for Stockton last year and struggled. Previous to that, pitched for Beloit again, and also pitched well. So Boomer is definitely somebody that we're gonna send up. He's struggling right now. I mean, he's pitching well now, even though he struggled previously in Advanced A. But maybe this time he could finally discover his abilities. Let's take a look at Kyle before we make this move. So just like Boomer, Kyle has struggled in AA, but he's pitched well in Stockton Ports Advanced A. He didn't pitch that well for Beloit, and so not a candidate for promotion, unfortunately. Eric Jokic. Let's take a look at Eric Jokic. Eric Jokic was drafted in 2007 by the Indians, and then re-entered the draft again. I guess he didn't sign. Re-entered the draft again in 2010. Got drafted by the Cubs. He's kind of bounced around the league. I remember when the Oakland A's signed him. He was promising then. Doesn't look as promising anymore. He's 28 years old. He's struggled from time to time. Well, the last game he played in Double-A, he only struggled in 1 1/3 innings. So not enough time pitching there for us to use that against him. So we can't judge him based on 1 1/3 innings. I mean, everybody is bound to have a bad game from time to time. You want a decent sample. So, for example, when he pitched in 134 innings for Triple-A, he did okay. That's that's somewhere just slightly below league average. Again, in 2016, he didn't fare out too bad. Again, don't focus on the 16.62 ERA because that was just in 4 1/3 innings. Could have just been a bad game. So you know what? Jokic could actually be the person that we promote. And we are going to promote him. We're going to send Jokic up to our advanced A team. All right, because Jokic has had a lot of potential a while back. He's got a lot of pitches that he can throw. He's already pitched in the AAA level, and in 134 innings, he pitched okay. His whip has been consistently low, except for a few times when he struggled. But again, that's kind of how you have to look at players. Is you don't focus on just one thing. When you see something, you look at the next stat to understand why one stat is the way it is. Like when you look at 2018 in Double-A, he's got a 6.7 ERA. You're like, what? But when you look at innings pitched, it's only 1 1/3 innings pitched. So not a factor to evaluate him. We're going to skip that and look at the next time when he pitched over a longer number of games or a lot more games where he had the opportunity to prove himself. How did he fare? And I think he kind of fared okay in those moments, especially when he can pitch in Triple-A in 134 innings and get 4.21 ERA. I mean, not something to really be proud of, but it certainly shows that he has the capability to pitch. And so we're going to try to help him by giving him a chance to continue to show himself. So we're sending him to Advanced A. If he continues to pitch well, who knows? He could end up in Double-A and make his way back up to Triple-A. All right, so we have completed this move. We've brought in Miguel Romero from Advanced A to Single A, and we've sent up Jokic. So if we go to Advanced A and look at the position players, let's look at guys who are really standing out. Melvin Mercedes. Let's take a look at him. So Melvin, third baseman, currently pitching for Stockton Ports. Utility guy who can pitch virtually every position on the field. He's having a decent season in Single A, in High A. His power doesn't show. He doesn't have power, but he's certainly making good contact with the bat. He's got a .333 batting average, a outstanding .423 on-base percentage, and that's in 145 plate appearances. I mean, not a lot, but we're only in June. And his slugging is .463 with a .886 OPS. You could tell he can hit for a little bit gap power, so he's got a few doubles. He's got 10 doubles so far. He's got everything going for him right now. He's doing well. So who else? We got a catcher here who's really performing well and causing us to focus on him, demanding attention based on his performance. Let's take a look at his ratings. All right, so he's a very average catcher. If you look at his fielding stats, so his catcher's ERA is extremely high, 6.89. So, you know, his efficiency is good. Zone rating and range factor is fairly high, and a good fielding percentage. He's got a 25.9% caught stealing percentage. It could be, he's 24 years old. He could be somebody that could deserve promotion, maybe not in this particular case. So if I filter this based on plate appearances and then look at who's got a high batting average, Miguel comes out on top. That helps to make your decision. Now, he may not have the greatest ratings, but again, ratings are subject to your scout's valuation. You want to consider a player's performance. I do like how he's performed so far in 2018, and so you know, Miguel is somebody that definitely we would consider promoting. But on the other hand, let's look at the guys who are struggling. Dayron Blanco. Dayron has a very short time with the team, just because he joined us from Cuba. One of those guys signed from some kind of an international free agency once he defected in 2015. He's kind of struggled a bit playing for Stockton as an outfielder. Let's see, he's got a very low OPS, 6.694, which is very low for an outfielder. He's got 34 RBIs, which is pretty good, but looks like he's not been doing too well. The other guy, Braylon Perez. Braylon is he's batting kind of somewhere around league average, so he's above that Mendoza line. So the only guy that's really sort of in struggle mode is Dayron. So we're gonna send him down to Class A, and then we're gonna go to Class A and see which position player. Let's filter this again by plate appearances, and then take a look at the stats and see who is killing it. And Hunter Hargrove, he's currently playing really well. He's on fire. not literally, but based on his performance, he's been consistent over the last few games. 23 years old, mostly can play first base and a bit of outfield and third base. 14 doubles, I like that. 252 batting average. He's got a 330 on base percentage and a 432 slugging for a 7.762 OPS and 35 RBIs. Not too bad. See who else is there. Lazaro Armenteros. If you watched our minor league review or evaluation that we did a few videos back, you probably saw this name come up often. Lazaro is one of our top prospects, and you can see he's got fairly high potential, and you know, we've got a lot of high hopes for Lazaro. He's an outfielder, primarily left. He's got 12 doubles, batting average 266, on base percentage 344, and the slugging 371 for 0.715 on OPS, on base plus slugging. So not pretty bad. He's 19 years old. He's only had this one stint in single A. So we're gonna bump him up to advanced A. He's performed this well in 256 plate appearances. Now remember when I said earlier, you'll come across guys who are maybe still young, but they've got something special. This is one of those guys. Now you don't want to promote him too quick. At the same time, I don't want him sitting in my lower minor league systems or teams and just and rotting and not progressing. So we're gonna send him to AAA just by virtue of his high caliber potential, the fact that he's one of our top prospects, and the fact that he's actually been performing well for his current team, Beloit Snappers. 266 batting average, not too bad. So he gets to be promoted. Send to Stockton Ports. All right, so now he may be angry because he believes that he should be somewhere else, or maybe because of the team not performing well. Who knows? Again, you always make sure that your active roster is correctly managed. So I think that's about it for Advanced A. Now we're gonna go down and take a look at Beloit Snappers, which is our regular A. So things are gonna move a little bit quicker when we get to this levels, because we've got let's see, we promoted Boomer already. Did we? No, we didn't promote Boomer. Okay, Boomer may be promoted next time. We were going to promote him, but then we sent Jokish. So we're going to take a look at strugglers here. And Miguel, excuse me. Miguel, we brought him down already, so we're not going to look at him. We're going to look at Wyatt. So when I'm at this level, I look at the age of the person and I look at his struggles together with his potential ratings. So a guy like this is 22 years old. He's already in single A. Even though he's struggling, perhaps staying in single A is not the worst thing. Then we're going to take a look at Trey Cochran Gill. Trey is currently struggling. Well, he was actually struggling in Advanced A. He's playing really well currently. So again, when I look at the ERA here, it can be deceiving because it's combining two stats for when he was playing for Beloit and when he was playing for Stockton Ports. They're both single A teams, so the computer or the system will add up the two stats and then give a combined ERA. But in actuality, when you look at his pitching stats, you notice that he's only struggled in Advanced A, but currently where he is right now, which is Beloit, he had a 2.25 ERA. So we're gonna leave him there. So I don't, those are the guys who were struggling, but we seem to have fair reasons for what it is that's going on and why we probably should leave them there. So you want to look at just somebody who's extremely overwhelmed. Anthony Cherlin. Anthony is extremely overpowered here. He seems to be struggling quite a bit. He's 21 years old. So let me look at my lower A's. And the season hasn't started yet. So So we don't have any stats for the players that are currently playing in our lower A. The season, it's a short season that goes from June to September. Starts June 15th. We're only June 14th, so we're 1 day before this league gets going. I believe this would be the Penn League. It's like, yeah. So Vermont Lake Monsters play in the New York Penn League. So this season hasn't started. So what do? Well, we go in and we take a look at potential. Since we're looking at batters, we look at batting potentials. And we've got a guy here, Yardel Vargas. Yardel has only played in rookie ball. He hasn't yet played in single A. So he's got a decent potential, just 2.5 stars. Nothing, you know, oh my God, special. So I'm gonna leave him there. If we go to a pitcher's side and do pitching potential, so got a few guys with very low potentials. Yeah, so we're gonna leave these guys here. Their season hasn't started yet. We're gonna wait for their season to start. But what I do when I come to this lower level, which is my short A, I take a look to see what availability I have, and then I go into my rookie teams, and then I kind of evaluate the guys with the highest potential. But if you take a look, this is our recent draft pick, Riley Thompson. We're gonna leave him there. He needs to play some games in rookie ball. Brian is one of our draft picks. Lucas is one of our draft picks. Rudy, draft pick. So we've got guys that are yet to get going. This season is yet to start. It also starts on the 18th of June. So, and if we take a look at our Dominican League, I think this league has already started. Yeah. So the Dominican League started on the 4th. So you won't find guys who have played a lot of games. And so there's not a lot to do right now until after another month. We can go back and take a look at the guys who are playing in the rookie leagues, as well as in our short season lower A or minus A. Once they've accumulated some stats, and take a look at how they're performing, and then do the same thing that we've done with the other levels. So that is basically it. If we take a look at the entire system, so we've gone through Nashville, Midland, Stockton, Beloit, and then not much we can do right now for Vermont Lake Monsters because this season hasn't started. We don't have a lot of data and stats for those players. Not much we can do for our Arizona rookie team. Again, season starting tomorrow. And not much we can do for our Dominican rookie team because their season just started a few weeks ago. Those players are mostly young new players that we've drafted, and a few others from the years before. So we're gonna leave them in those. We're not gonna change much yet until they've had some playing time. Let them gain some experience time, some playing time before we start moving them up and down or playing around with them. All right, guys. So one other thing I wanted to mention is that since we went through our draft the other day, I wanted to highlight this for guys who are considering to play out of the park baseball. I hope everybody who watches this gets motivated and interested enough to want to play out of the park baseball. You just type out of the park baseball or OOTP on the internet. You'll find the link. Go to the website. Learn more about it. It's an awesome game. But anybody who's thinking about being a GM, this is something that I like to inform people. So once you draft players, if you take a look at our draft history here, draft history, these are all the guys we drafted recently. Now, what the system, the game does is it takes all these guys and it puts them in one team. And so if you have two rookie teams, some teams, like I said, have more than two, and I'll show you. If you look at teams like New York, or even the Mets, I believe, I could be wrong, but if I'm, look at that. So the Mets have 3 rookie teams. They've got a team that plays in the Gulf Coast Rookie League, a team that plays in the Dominican Rookie League, and two teams that play in the Dominican Rookie League. If you go to even other teams, I believe, such as maybe the Pirates, some of them have even 4. Pirates have 3 rookie teams. So New York, I believe, has 4. I know that for a fact. If it hasn't changed. Where's New York? Let's do sub league. What am I doing here? All right, where's New York? So there's the Yankees. All right. Okay, so this year they have 3. They used to have 4 rookie teams. Anyway, the purpose of what I'm trying to say is, once you draft players, you should be proactive in going into your lower rookie teams, because they will all be put in one team. Usually, like for example, all my players were put in the Arizona rookie team, but I have 2 rookie teams. Now, if you flood all your players, all your new draft picks in one team, not all of them will get a chance to play. Some guys will have to spend a lot of time on the bench. So what you do is you basically spread them out. What I do, I take my top picks and I put them in a different league or a different team where they'll get some playing time. The way I have my rookie teams, my Arizona has the most players. This is more like my entry-level rookie team, even though both of them are rookie teams. But these 64 players here, at some point we'll be releasing some players, and we'll talk about that in a different video. So if I put all my players here that I just recently drafted, including my really good drafts, some of them may end up not having a chance to really pitch as often because we have a huge pool of players here. But if I go into my Dominican rookie team, I only have 35 players total, and I always keep it low. The reason for that is that way the guys who are really highly touted, like Jonathan Childress, our #1 pick, I put him on this team. Hunter Bowling, my #2 pick, he's on this team. And then I promoted a few other guys to this team to spread things around so that you don't have every single player you drafted on one team and not getting playing time. So I put some players here and I put some in Arizona. All right, just a little hint, a little helping point and a tip. So now we've done what I should have done at the end of the month, which is we've evaluated our minor league system. Just a shuffle. We've gone in and we've looked at players who are underperforming. We've demoted them. Those who are overperforming, we've given them a chance and promoted them. This is something you can do frequently. It doesn't have to be at the end of the month, but it's good to do it at the end of the month because you get to accumulate enough stats in order to be able to judge a player. But from time to time, you can always pop into your teams. You manage these teams. If you look at how this game is set up, if you go into manager options, these are my controls. I control everything here except for my minor league lineups and depth charts. I can change that to me. I can control that as well, but it's so mundane. I don't need to control that part. But everything else you do, which means you control who comes up, who goes down. If you don't move players around, they will remain where they are forever. So you'll never have your top talent coming up to the big leagues. So make it a habit. Don't ignore your minor league system. Everybody loves to focus on their big league team. And of course, all the attention should be there, but not all of it. I love going into my minor league teams from time to time, and the way this game is designed, if you go to the main page, something very simple, you get to see the leaders, the guys who are leading in both position or offense and in your pitching side. And you could just use that as a quick window to tell you, maybe I should take a look at this guy. Maybe we should promote this guy. Maybe we should demote this guy. So this is a good way to look at who really is doing so well that needs to go up. But you should also go in as you bring people up. You have to send people down, because you can only have 25 players active per team, no more. So if you bring up one guy and you don't demote, one team will be imbalanced, and the game will not let you advance. All right. So yeah, what else can I talk about? I mean, that's about it. It's been a long video. Hope you guys learned something here, picked up some ideas on how to manage your minor league teams. Some people do find it daunting. It's not. It's actually the fun part. One of the coolest thing about this game for me is being able to have a complete minor league system that works, and that you can develop players. Like we just recently went through the draft. I'm so excited to see how those guys end up, and you can keep track of them. That's the coolest thing, and see how they evolve. If the ones you thought will be stars will end up being stars, if not or not, and it's just exciting. So that's about it for this video. This was all about what I call some house cleaning, going through your organization and just doing some house cleaning. But it's crucial. It is very essential. Not something you can skip unless you want your overall universe to die off. So I hope that was exciting and interesting, and hope to see you guys on our next video. Thanks a lot.